plumbing for a kitchen sink on the water line, normally the water lines, the incoming water lines for residential use may be 1/2 inch. So that would be perhaps the incoming water line. Okay, there would be an angle stop here, and the angle stop would show, so the angle stop may be or either an angle or a straight stop. So the straight stop goes straight up and down. The angle stop has the, say, the cutoff to the front with the threaded part that connects to the hose going upward. But notwithstanding either one you want to do, it depends on your configuration. Sometimes it's not a one size fits all. Sometimes it's do it relative to whatever configuration one has, and sometimes you that's not precise. But notwithstanding, so okay, if we have a hose that looks something like this, my opinion, I like the braided hose, but that's my opinion only. Use whatever you want to use. That's choice. I don't tell people what to do or what not to do. But notwithstanding, okay, so the topic here is what size. When I go into a hardware store or a box store and I'm doing the water lines, okay, what do I need? Okay, number one, you're going to need maybe an angle stop or a straight stop. So this perhaps should be 1/2 inch by 3/8 inch. Again, 1/2 inch, that's your water size that fits onto your water size. I like the shark bite ones, so I can just push them on, and then the other end either goes straight up. Both of them kind of go straight up, but one's at an angle and the other one's just vertically straight up. Sometimes they use even a PEX one, so that depends on what each individual has. But now, what size hose do I need? Okay, the hose, in my opinion, is 3/8 on one end. Okay, 3/8 by 1/2 inch on the other end. So this 1/2 inch here would go up and connect onto the bottom of the kitchen sink sometimes, not always. It depends on the configuration. This would connect, generally speaking. This may be a female thread. If you can see in there, it's difficult to see. But this particular part here would screw onto your either angle stop or straight stop, if this is the configuration one has. So again, 3/8 by 1/2. 3/8 near the cutoff. Just think of the 3/8 inch near the cutoff. 1/2 inch near here. Now, one other thing to do, keep in mind, say this is a 20-inch hose. The length of it may be 20 inches plus or minus. They make them shorter, they make them longer. If you're not certain what you have, sometimes even a 20-inch, you have to reconfigure it with another pipe to make it even longer, notwithstanding. But if you're not certain on the length, you could use a 20, and sometimes you can kind of twist it in a circle, not crimp it, but kind of manipulate the pipe. It gives you a little bit more room. So you need to, if you can take a tape measure and add 3 inches to each side, or 4 inches to each side, just say add 4 or 5 inches to each side on the bottom and the top. That way you'll know what length pipe you need. But if you don't, just probably a 20 may be a good guess, but that's not engraved in stone. But the size you're going to need is going to be 3/8. This would screw, this has got a female thread, it would screw on here. Okay, the other, when the angle stop comes out, it has a little thing, like for some of them have a little thing for a compression fitting. I screw it off and just throw it away. But if you're doing another type of fitting, you may need that. So you need to be cognizant of the fact of what you need. But basically, you would have male threads on the cutoff, and the female threads from the 3/8 would screw here, and then under the kitchen sink, generally, not always, would be 1/2 inch here. So this would normally screw on to the faucet somewhere under the kitchen sink. So just think of the 1/2 inch is higher and the 3/8 inch is lower. So the 3/8 would be near the cutoff. So again, it would be 3/8, generally speaking, by 1/2 inch. So again, for this braided hose that you would need 3/8 by 1/2 inch for the kitchen sink. So again, 3/8 by 1/2, and then the length, whatever you need. This particular one's 20 inches. So if you're not certain of your length, it would be good if you could measure it so you know what length it is, and then get it. If you're not certain, go ahead and get a 20 inch instead of maybe like a 16 or a 12. So, but where you need to be aware of, and if you're not certain, take a fitting in the store and screw it on here to make sure it fits, because you need 3/8 by 1/2 for the braided hose for the kitchen sink plumbing to go from the cutoff. Generally speaking, if you have a cutoff with male threads, to the bottom of the kitchen sink. Sometimes this may be configured differently, but generally the half will work. Maybe not always, but generally. So 3/8, 1/2 braided hose for kitchen sink for water line. Thank you.